Good morning to everyone. Nagarjuna from SAP HANA Academy. So we will start the session in another 1 to 2 minutes. Few more participants are joining the session. Another 1 to 2 minutes we are going to start the session. Thank you. Thank you everyone. So we'll start the session now. So first of all, I would just like to recap yesterday's session for 5 to 10 minutes and then we'll move on with today's session. In yesterday's session, we asked a very simple question. When a table has 2 trillion records, you're asking a simple question: who are my top customers? In order to get answer from this table from 2 trillion records, if the data in table is on the MS SQL, it takes more than 8 hours to answer the question. But for the same data, same question, and the table is on HANA, it takes less than 6 seconds to answer. Now, why is HANA high performance? So basically, 3 reasons. The first one is an in-memory DB. Second one, column-oriented database. Third one, massively parallel processing of data. Now, why in-memory databases have extremely high performance? So due to 2 reasons. Reason 1, RAM is faster to process data. It is 100,000 times faster to process data than disk. The second reason is data is kept close to the CPU. So whenever we are trying to request data, disk is far from CPU, but RAM is close to the CPU. So RAM is faster to process data and data is kept close to the CPU. That's why in-memory databases are faster. Second one, why column-oriented databases have extremely high performance? There are two ways that we can store data. One is in row, the second one in column. In row-oriented databases, the entire data for a table is stored in a single file. When you store data in column-oriented databases, when you store data in a column-oriented DBs, hello, is my voice okay or is it breaking? I got message from some participants. Is my voice breaking in between? Could anyone let me? Okay, thank you. Thanks, everyone. So, the second reason is in a column-oriented databases, each column is stored in a separate file. So what is the difference between storing data in one file and storing data in multiple files? So each column data is stored in a separate file. So whenever we ask a question, when we ask a question to a column DB, the same question if I ask in a row DB, in row, it has to scan the entire data in a file. In column, it only goes to that file. For example, if there are 100 columns, I'm trying to request only 2 column data, or let's say 4 or 5. It only goes to those files and get data. Whereas in row, it has to scan the entire data to get the answer. So in column, it takes shortcut to data. In row, it has to scan the entire file. So again, why column-oriented DBs have extremely high performance is due to the reason it only goes to those relevant columns in the question and get data, whereas row has to scan the entire table. Third one, massively parallel processing of data. In massive parallel processing, where complex programs are broken down into smaller subsets, and each subset of a program is individually processed. Finally, it assembles all these pieces together and gives back to the user. So each CPU in HANA has multiple cores. Each CPU in HANA has multiple cores. Each core can process 3.2 billion records per second per core and 15 million aggregations per second per core. The more the cores you have, the faster it can process data. So each core can process. So when you have more cores, all the cores are involved. So when you have a complex program, the program is broken down into small pieces. Each program is assigned to one core. Each core process, assembles, and give back to the user. And then we have seen it. Once we completed this, we have seen a sidecar scenario and main car scenario. So as a HANA consultant, there are 3 things that we have to perform. One is data modeling, data reporting, and data provisioning. So data modeling is done at HANA Studio. Data provisioning, SLT, SAP Landscape Transformation, BODS, Business Objects Data Services, DXC, Direct Extractor Connection, and fourth one, Smart Data Access. So for data provisioning, there are different ways we can provision data. SLT. SLT is used for real-time data transfer. So whenever you insert data on the source system, when we insert, update or delete data on the source system, immediately the data is available in target. So when you insert a sales order, immediately it's available in HANA. So SLT for real-time data transfer. BODS, Business Objects Data Services. BODS is an ETL tool. Extract, transform, and load. So BODS helps to connect to heterogeneous source systems. It can connect to SAP system. It can connect to non-SAP system. So BODS connects to heterogeneous source systems. Transform, you can apply business rules, and finally load to target. So SLT for real time, BODS for complex transformation. It is used to load data in batch processing. We can schedule jobs. So every day at 8 a.m., schedule a job and transfer data to HANA. So SLT, SAP Landscape Transformation, is to transfer data in real time. Business Objects Data Services is to transfer data in batch and reach in transformation of data. Third one, DXC, Direct Extractor Connection. DXC is especially used when you want to transfer data, when you want to bypass existing BW system and get the same data to HANA. So data is originated in OLTP systems and we move data to OLAP systems, that is BW. So we move data from source system to target system, that is to BW. Suppose say we implemented HANA. So we implemented HANA. We want to bypass the data that is already going to BW. Now because we implemented HANA, we want to move the same set of data to HANA. So using DXC. So DXC is a method in which we can bypass existing BW and get the same set of data to HANA. Whatever the questions that we are asking on BW, we can ask in HANA. So we can design those queries again in HANA. So DXC is especially used when you have BW. Only when you have BW, DXC will work. And DXC is a batch processing. So DXC does batch processing. Last one, Smart Data Access. Smart Data Access, you can smartly access data from non-SAP systems. You can connect to a non-SAP system like MS SQL, or we can connect to DB2. So you can connect to the source systems And these systems are non-SAP systems. You can connect to those systems and transfer data to HANA. So how many data provisioning methods we have? SLT, BODS, DXC, and Smart Data Access. SLT for real time, BODS for batch, rich in transformation, DXC to bypass existing BW system, and the last one, Smart Data Access, is to connect to non-SAP systems and to transfer data to HANA. So these are the different ways we can provision data. So once we provision data, finally data is available in HANA. Once we provision data, finally data is available in HANA. Once the data is available in HANA, then we start data modeling. Data modeling is nothing but defining a relationship between tables. How we can relate tables based on the business requirement is data modeling. So data modeling can be done for master data, transaction data. You can create different kinds of models in HANA. So once the data modeling is done in HANA, we expose these models to business objects, business intelligence reporting, or you can expose to Fiori, or you can expose to non-SAP reporting tools. So again, in the UI or the data reporting, we have different ways we can consume data. You want to consume data in cloud with rich visualization. We use Lumira. So Lumira is a tool in which business can consume data with rich visualizations, and Lumira is in cloud. It operates as a service. It's also known as cloud for analytics. We can consume data in Excel. Business can consume data in Excel or in PowerPoint. So this product is known as Analysis for Office. Analysis for Office. So you can do analysis in Office, MS Office. So this is known as Analysis for Office. You can consume data in iPad and iPhone with Design Studio. You can design an application to be running on iPad and iPhone. You want to search data like Google. So when you search data in Google based on different keywords. So in the same way, we can do a search on data using Explorer. Explorer is another tool where it works like Google. You can search on data. We have Crystal Reports Enterprise. This is for formatted reports. Fiori. Fiori is a lightweight application which is running inside HANA. It's an application that is running inside HANA. HANA has an application server, web application server, which is running inside the database. So that is the reason HANA is not only called in-memory database, it's also called as application platform, because it has an engine, a web application engine that is running inside HANA, which is known as Axis Engine. So you can expose data to different applications. And one of the application is Fury. You can expose data models in Fury where business can consume these data models. You have non-SAP reporting tools like BOBI. With integration with BOBI, non-SAP reporting tools like Tableau, TIBCO Spotfire, IBM Cognos. So as a HANA consultant, there are three things that we have to perform. One is data modeling at HANA Studio. HANA Studio is the UI, data provisioning, SLT, BODS, DXE and Smart Data Access, and data reporting, Lumira, Analysis for Office, Crystal Reports Enterprise, Explorer, Design Studio, Analysis for OLAP. You can also use third-party reporting tools and Fury. So this is what we have seen in yesterday's session. And at the end of the session, we had question and answers. So coming to today's session, the main focus of today's session is to show what systems we have in the landscape. So the system I'm going to show now, this is what we will be accessing for doing our practicals. So this system will be given for 6 months for everyone to use. I'll just show you step-by-step process on how to access the system. By end of the session, by end of this today's session, the intention is to know what systems we have, how the integration is done, what is user IDs and passwords for each of these systems, so that you can access the systems and practice from next week onwards once we start our first session. So these systems are available 24/7. Anytime you can access. Okay, let us start today's session. So type in MSTSC, which is the remote desktop. So first we'll start today. So type in MSTSC. Click on the remote desktop connection. So this is the IP address. So for Windows, we have to type in MSTSC. And if you're using MacBook, for Mac, there is an app. In the App Store, you find a remote desktop app for Windows. You can download that app and then you can use this IP address 122.175.47.80 -3317. So this is the IP address. So once you enter this IP address, and click connect. So it will prompt to enter the user ID and password. So enter the user ID and password and click OK. So once you click OK, now we will enter into the remote desktop. Now we are inside the remote desktop. So I'll write down the IP address over here so that everyone can note down. We'll also give you a standard documentation. So we'll give you a standard documentation on how to access these systems, but this is the IP address for which you can access. So now we are inside the remote desktop. You see here, we are inside the remote desktop. So coming to the source system side. So in order to practice, we have an SAP system and a non-SAP system. The SAP system that we have is the ECC system. ECC stands for Enterprise Core Component or Enterprise Central Component. So this is the OLTP system, Online Transaction Processing System. So in order to log into ECC, in order to log into the ECC system, we have the UI called SAP GUI. So for participants who are new to SAP, so SAP GUI is the UI using which you can log into the ECC system. So click Start, click All Program, click SAP Frontend, click SAP Logon. So once you click SAP Logon, so this is the UI to access ECC. So the version of ECC is the latest version, which is ECC 6.0 EHP7. Double click on the system, double click on the system. The username is best. Best is the username, and the password for this is welcome123. W is the capital letter, welcome123. And one more thing, we all going to share the same user IDs and passwords. So once we are inside the remote desktop connection, so once we are inside this connection, all the user IDs and passwords that I'm sharing in today's session, we will use the same user ID and password once we're inside. So only to enter to the system is different. To enter into the system, we will have a different user ID and password. But once we enter, all same user IDs and passwords. So for ECC, the user ID is best. And password is W capital welcome 123. And if you notice, all the systems in our landscape have the same user ID and same password, so that we can remember very easily in practice. So most of the systems have the same user ID and password. So this is the user ID for ECC. So let us log into ECC. W capital welcome 123, click enter. Now ECC here, when I click systems, click status. Now ECC is running on a database which is MS SQL. Please see, the database for ECC is MS SQL. I'll just try to show you one table. I'll go to S11. S11 is a T code to see tables. So let's go to S11, enter a table, KNA1. KNA1 is a customer master table. I'll click display. So KNA1 is a customer master table. It has more than 207 columns. A simple table like customer table, it has more than 200 columns in this table. Click contents. click Contents, and click Execute. So when we execute, so from where is this data being retrieved? This data is being retrieved from MS SQL database. So ECC here is sitting on a DB which is MS SQL. So what is the disadvantages of MS SQL? And what are the advantages of HANA? So here we have HANA. So the disadvantage of MS SQL is when you have KNU1 table on ECC, and if this table is stored in MS SQL, so where is this table storing data in MS SQL? It is storing on disk. It is storing on disk. So MS SQL is a database that is designed to store data on disk. It is storing data in row. It does sequential processing. So my intention here is to move these tables. So we have to move KNU1 table from ECC, from an existing ECC. The same table I need to move to HANA. So how do I move this table from ECC and HANA? And what is the advantage I have when I move this table? So when I move this table from ECC to HANA, the advantage is in here, the data is stored in RAM. It is stored in column. So once you provision data, the primary way to store data for KNU1 table, when it is HANA, it is storing in memory, directly on memory. It is storing data in columnar fashion. It does massively parallel processing of data. So that is the reason we would like to move data from ECC to HANA. Now, how can I move? We can move, but how do I move? I move using data provisioning methods. We just discussed the different ways to move data. One is using SLT, the second one BODS, third one DXC, and fourth one Smart Data Access. So these are the four different ways we can move data. So KNU1 is on the source system. So these are known as source systems. And HANA here is a target system. So ECC is a source system. So source system is a system is where data is originated. Target system is a system where we move data, and finally the data is residing in HANA. So it's target for this table. Okay, so in order to log into ECC, so we're just trying to understand user IDs and passwords. User ID is best, and the password is welcome123. So we'll also see exercises on how to migrate data from non-SAP systems. So if you have a non-SAP system in your landscape, we also have to move data from these systems to HANA. So how do we do that? So let me log into MS SQL. So we have a database which is MS SQL. To log into MS SQL, like SAP GUI for ECC, so here we have a UI called Management Studio. So this is known as Management Studio. So let me log into Management Studio, click Start, click All Program, click SQL Server 2012, click SQL Server Management Studio. Click on this. So it will open up the application. SQL Server Management Studio is the UI to log into MS SQL. So first I'll complete to show the source systems, and then we will see HANA, and then provisioning and reporting. So once we launch the application, same user ID and password. User ID is best, password is W capital welcome 123, and click connect. So once we connect, so here we see database, expand these databases. So here you have different databases. Nothing but a database is a collection of tables, collection of database objects. So you can go to one of the database. So let us expand tables. So here you can see tables, and when you right click on any of the table and open data preview, all these are custom tables. So here we have one table. So we have some junk data. I created this table just when you migrate, we would like to cleanse this data. You see there are double quotes, single quotes, tailoring spaces, special characteristics. So when you migrate this table to HANA, now this we should take it very clean table without these special characteristics. We would like to move data. So when you have a data something like this on your source system with all junk values, we have to cleanse and finally send to HANA. This is known as data cleansing. You can cleanse data. So when you have a table on the non-SAP system, when we have a table on the non-SAP system, when you have junk values, you can cleanse this data using BODS. So using BODS, Business Objects Data Services, you can cleanse. You can cleanse and finally take cleansed data to HANA. So we'll see these kind of scenarios on the MS SQL. That's why we have a database which is MS SQL, which will be used as a source system for non-SAP. So what is the username and password is best. Just delete this. Best and W capital welcome 123. Next is coming to HANA. So we'll move on to the target systems. So we have seen ECC, MS SQL, and let us see HANA now. So in order to log into HANA system, which is our target system, we have a UI called HANA Studio. So HANA Studio is the UI for HANA. So in order to log into HANA Studio, it means that we can log into HANA database using HANA Studio. Like here you have SAP GUI to log into SAP system. Management Studio to log into MS SQL. HANA Studio to log into HANA. click Start, click All Program, click SAP HANA folder, click HANA Studio. So this is the UI to log into HANA system. And click OK. So now we log into HANA system. So once we log into HANA system, so here you see called systems. We can add our system over here. So already the system is added for us to use. If you want to log off, right click on the system, log off. If you want to log in, right click on the system, log on. So how am I able to log in without a user ID and password? When you right click on the system, click Properties. So here we already store username and password. So that is the reason it is not asking us user ID and password. So usually the user ID is best, and then you can enter the password W capital welcome 123 and click apply and click OK. So you'll be able to log into the system. So the user ID for HANA, is the same user ID and password, which is best welcome 123. So once you log into HANA Studio, just I would take 5 minutes to explain at least what we can see in HANA. But from the first session, we will see more detail about the HANA Studio. So once you log into HANA, so considering this is HANA Studio. And here you see systems. So this is the system which is already added. So under system, once you expand the system, we find catalog. Once you expand this system, there are two important folders. One is called catalog, and the other one is known as content. Catalog, content. Catalog is a collection of schema. So what is a catalog? Catalog is a collection of schema. What is a schema? A schema is a collection of database objects. Schema is a collection of database objects like tables. So catalog, so once you expand system, we find catalog. Catalog is a collection of schema, and schema is a collection of database objects like tables. And these tables in HANA, you can store both in row as well as in column. All the tables that store business data, the tables that store business related data are stored in column stores. Like for example, KNA1, MARA, BSEG, VBAK, VBAP, all the tables that store master or transaction data. All these tables store data in columnar fashion. And the primary way for these tables to store data is in memory. The primary way to store data for these tables is in RAM. So let us see this now. So I'll go to the HANA Studio. So once you expand the system, we see catalog. Once you expand the catalog, we see schema called best. So this is the schema. Once we expand this schema, you see there is a folder called tables. So there is a filter. Now, so I think for previous session I'm taking a filter on a table called VBAK. So that is the reason we only see tables from VBAK. So I'll just right click on the table and remove this filter so that when I remove the filter, we can see all tables. I'll just remove this filter. You can see all these tables. So this symbol that you see, this is for row and this symbol is for column. So I'll try to search on a table. Just place your cursor over here. Whatever the table that you're looking for, you can just place your cursor and type in the table name, KNA1. So automatically the cursor will go to the table. Right click on this table and open data preview. Yes, we can open data preview. Like in SAP, we use SE11 to see tables, data. So here we can see, right click on the table and open data preview. So this is the data inside the KNA1 table. When I select the table, right click, open definition. When I open the definition of a table, you see the table stores data in a column store. The table stores data in a column. Click on runtime information. The total memory consumption, you see, the total memory consumption here is 3395 KB. So approximately around 3 MB of data is stored in this table. So this table is a column store. The size of the table is 3.3 MB of data. So right click on the table, open data preview. So all the data that you see here, all the data that we see here, this data is stored in RAM. And this data is stored in a columnar fashion. So each column has a separate file to store the data. So when we go to the HANA Studio, expand systems, catalog. Catalog is a collection of schema. In schemas we have tables. These tables store data in columnar fashion and in memory. So we have seen one example for KNA1. Double click, or you can double click column store in memory. So this is where you have all the tables. So once we do data provisioning, you see, once we do data provisioning, the table on the ECC, now we have the same table in HANA. So this table is in memory, this table is in column store. So how did we move this table? Via these different data provisioning methods. So HANA Studio is the UI to access HANA. Once you enter into HANA system, catalog, collection of schema, schema, collection of tables. Again, under system, you have one more folder called content. Now, what is this content? Content is a collection of package. Content is a collection of package. So how am I grouping tables over here? For example, I would like to group set of tables. I can group these tables via schema. So tables are grouped under schema. Information views are grouped under package. So what is a package? Package is an object that is used to group information views. So under each package, we have information views. These information views are of three types. There are three types of information views. One is an attribute view. The second one, attribute view. The first one is an attribute view. The second one is an analytic view. And third one is a calculation view. So what is a view? So first of all, what is a view? A view only has a container. It does not have content. It's only a structure. Now, where is content stored? Content is available inside these tables. So where is content? Content is in tables. View only has structure. And these views are of different types: attribute, analytic, calculation. So we can access data from these tables in runtime to populate data to the view. So information views are grouped under packages. So what is a package? A package is an object to group views based on a subject area, based on an application. For example, all the sales related data, the sales and distribution related views are stored in one package. What are my incoming orders? I would like to see my sales overview. Who are my top customers? So all the views that give information about incoming orders, sales overview is stored under this package. All my HR, human resource related data. In human resource, we have time management. In time management, employees coming to office on time, employees working overtime. Who are the employees who are working overtime in office? Employees who are coming late to office. Employees who are absent. So all these kind of questions that are related to HR, I can keep in a different package. So now what is a package? A package is an object to group views. Views are only containers. They get content in runtime from tables. These tables are in schema. Schema is in catalog. Catalog is in system. These tables are column stores. These tables, primary way to store data is in memory. So whenever we execute a view, it gets data from these tables. Okay, so let me show you some sample views that we already developed. I'll go to HANA Studio. So now I will close this catalog. I'll just close this catalog. I'll expand, click on the plus icon to expand content. I'll go to any of my batch. So there's one batch here, ECC March 21st. So this is an attribute view. So these are attribute views. So this is a calculation view. So these are calculation views. So all these are different data models that we created. This is analytic view, this is an analytic view. So all these are information views. So when you right click on a package, just to show you, when you right click on a package, so this is an information view. Information view. So how many types of information views we have? There are 3 types. What are those? View type. So there are 3 types. What are those? Attribute view, analytic view, and calculation view. So more about this we will see in our first session, that is the next session. So next session is about introduction to HANA Studio. So on the introduction part, we'll see from next session. But just today we will see just the user IDs and passwords. So these information views are created in the HANA Studio. So HANA Studio is the UI. So what is the user ID and password? To log in is best W capital welcome 123. So this is what available in the HANA Studio. The next is coming to data provisioning. So how can we provision data? So there are different ways that we can provision data. First one, let us look at SLT. SLT stands for SAP Landscape Transformation. In order to access SLT system, in order to access this system, we have LTRC. LTRC is a transaction code which is known as LT Replication Server Cockpit. LT Replication Server Cockpit. So this is one way we can access, and the other way we can access SLT is directly from HANA Studio. So from both the ways we can access SLT. One is using LTRC T code and the other one using HANA Studio. So let me show you from HANA Studio. So from the HANA Studio, click on the HANA Studio. I'll just click Window, Perspective, Reset Perspective, Reset Perspective, click Yes. So once you click Yes, it is going to take to a default perspective. So you see something called Quick View. So Quick View, at the Quick View, you can find shortcuts to most of the options available in HANA. So Quick View is the area you can find shortcuts. So here I have a shortcut called data provisioning. I'll click on data provisioning, click on data provisioning, select the system, and click finish. So once you click finish, here we can see SLT based table data provisioning. So whatever the tables that we replicated, we can see those tables over here. So SLT can be accessed via HANA Studio. You can also access from LTRC T code. So if I go to the source system, I'll enter this T code. So in here, we configured SLT directly on the ECC system. So that is why I'm entering this T code LTRC on the ECC system. That is on the source system. LTRC, click enter. LT replication server cockpit. So this is nothing but SAP LT replication server cockpit. So here you see mass transfer ID. A mass transfer ID is the ID which is uniquely generated. This ID is very unique. For every connection, for example, if I'm connecting to an ECC system, so that is one connection. I'm connecting SAP, SLT can also connect to non-SAP system. I can connect to MS SQL. So when I connect to an ECC system, it generates one ID. When I connect to a non-SAP system, it generates another ID. In order to uniquely identify the configuration, mass transfer ID is generated. So based on the ID, I can recognize, okay, this configuration is for ECC and this configuration is for MS SQL. So let us click on this. Show list of values, and here you see 118 is one ID, 120, 127. The basically participants are practicing over here, creating configurations. So I'll just select one of the configuration. I selected 118. So 118 is for Tata Motors. So I'll click execute. So here we see LT replication server cockpit. Click provisioning. When you click on provisioning, so you see there are different options like load, replicate, stop load / replicate, suspend, load, resume. So using these different options, I can replicate data from SAP or non-SAP systems to HANA at the data provisioning. So SLT can be accessed via LTRC or via HANA Studio. SLT is a data provisioning method. You have different ways where you can provision data from ECC to HANA. You can load, replicate, stop load / replicate, suspend, resume. So you can use these options to move data from source to target, SLT. Second one, let us see the second one, BODS, Business Objects Data Services. So BODS So BODS has a different UI, user interface. Like for ECC, what is the UI? SAP GUI. For MS SQL, Management Studio. For HANA, HANA Studio. For SLT, LT Replication Server Cockpit. For BODS, Workbench. It is Workbench. So Workbench is the UI where we can log into BODS and we can perform activities for BODS. Let us log into BODS. Click Start, click All Program, click SAP Data Services 4.2 and click Data Services Workbench. So this is the UI, Data Services Workbench. Let us click on this Data Services Workbench. So Data Services Workbench. So let us provide the user ID and password. The user ID is best, password is same. Welcome 123. Excuse me. Click log on. So the version of BODS is 4.2. HANA is SP11. MS SQL 2012. SLT 2.0. So each of them has a version. So the version here for BODS is 4.2 version. So for the first time, when you log into BODS, you'll get this welcome page. So you'll see a welcome page called Data Services Workbench. Just close this. So here you can see these different flows of data. So here I designed an ETL flow where you can cleanse data. So where you can transform data. So you can use SQL transform to access data. So here you see there are different transforms. Readers, loaders, platform transforms. So most of the things that we learn in this course is 90 to 95% is navigation. So click here, click there. Just we need to know when to use what, and based on the requirement, we need to map all these objects together to get the desired output. So this is a replication job. So we can replicate tables like KNA1. So we can replicate different tables. I can replicate set of tables like VBAK, VBAP, TVKO, TVKOT. All these are different tables. I'm replicating from ECC to HANA. So using BODS, we can move data from ECC to HANA, and also we can apply these different transforms. Like you have transforms like case, merge, query transform, cleansing of data. You can do basic cleanse. You can remove unwanted characteristics, leading spaces, nulls, control chars, replace values. So all these are different transforms we can apply. And during the movement of data. So whatever the data that is available on ECC and MS SQL, I'll connect via BODS. I'll apply these transformations. You see there are different transformations over here. I can apply these different transforms, and finally I can move data to HANA. So BODS is rich in transformation of data. It is rich in transformation of data, and finally data is available in HANA. It's batch and rich in transformation. SLT for real time. Third one is DXE, direct extractor connection. So DXE is just a connection. Once we establish this connection, the data gets transferred to HANA. So this connection is a HTTP connection. So HTTP connection is the connection we can use to transfer data to HANA. So this connection is created by HANA admin. In order to see this connection, we can go to we can go to a T code on the ECC system. We can go to a T code. SM59. SM59 is the T code to see the HTTP connections. So once this connection is established, once you have this DXE connection configured, we can use the DXE connection and transfer data to HANA. So HTTP connection is a connection that is created by HANA admin. And inside the ECC system, inside this ECC system, we have another system called BW, which is known as embedded BW system. So I go to the ECC system, I'll click back, go to the T code RSA1. RSA1 is a T code to access BW. I think it is configured over here. RSA1 is a T code to access BW. So which is known as data warehousing workbench. So whatever the data that we're going to get to this system, whatever the data I'm getting to this system, so whatever the data I can get to these systems, I can transfer this data. Before the data goes to BW, I can create a connection which is a HTTP connection. I can transfer the data to HANA. So that's why DXE, direct extractor connection is a connection that we connect and transfer data to HANA. So this is a connection which can be created in SM59, which is a HTTP connection. Last one, smart data access. Smart data access is found at HANA Studio. So once we go to HANA Studio, once we're at the HANA Studio, close content. Here we can see provisioning, expand provisioning, smart data access. So smart data access, using smart data access is again a connection. We establish this connection called remote connection. Right click on the remote source, click new remote source, click new remote source. So we can connect to Teradata, we can connect to Hadoop. So we'll see exercises on how to transfer data from Hadoop to HANA. So these are different non-SAP systems like Hadoop, Teradata, IQ, MS SQL, MaxDB, Netezza. So all these systems we can use to connect and transfer data to HANA using Smart Data Access. SLT for real time, BODS for batch, DXC is a connection to connect. The connection type is HTTP. Smart Data Access is to connect to non-SAP system and transfer data to HANA. So these are the provisioning. So data provisioning, data modeling at HANA Studio. These are different source systems. And finally, to the data reporting. The presentation of data. The presentation of data is done in BOBI, data reporting. So data modeling is done at HANA Studio. Data modeling is done over here. Data provisioning over here, and data reporting. Now coming to the data reporting, which is the presentation of data. I'll click Start. I'll click All Program. So you have SAP Business Intelligence. Click on SAP Business Intelligence. So here we have different UI called SAP Lumira, Crystal Reports Enterprise, Business Objects Design Studio, Dashboards, Business Objects Analysis. So this is based on Excel. Lumira it has an on-premise version, it has an on-premise, also it has a cloud version, Crystal Reports Enterprise, Design Studio, Dashboards. So these are different UI. So I'll just click on SAP Lumira. So we'll click on SAP Lumira. So we'll click on SAP Lumira. So it is just starting the interface. So SAP Lumira, click File. So in order to connect to Lumira Cloud, we can connect to Lumira Cloud. We can connect to BI platform. We can connect to Hadoop. So I'll click on File to connect to HANA. Click on File. Click New. So here you have connect to SAP HANA. Select this. Click Next. So here I'm going to give the details for HANA. SAP HANA, username and password. So I'm giving HANA username and password and click Connect. So once I click Connect, so here we see all these are different data models from HANA. I'll try to search for one of the data model. Just trying to search for one of the data model on the ECC system. So I'll select this. I'll click Create. I'll just click Create. Excuse me. So connection successful. We're able to connect. And now, so this is the UI. So we're trying to access this data model. So here we have, so this model doesn't have too many characteristics, but just I'll try to show you the preview. I'll just take an year and we will take a measure. So we can generate different UIs. So based on month, you can see for gross revenue. So gross revenue is based on different month. Let me try to access another data model. I think this does not have much data in this. Just try to access one more data model. Click New. Just try to open another data model. Same thing I'm doing, but here we have gross revenue. I'm trying to see based on company code. So here we see there are attributes for company code. I can see based on company code. Based on different company code, I can see gross revenues. I can represent data in different UI. we can see in heat maps, funnel chats, clouds. So based on country, so if you want to see a table, you can see a cross tab table, country and gross revenue. So this is one of the UI in which we can visualize data. So in similar fashion, we have different set of tools. One to analyze data on Excel. You have BOBI, you have Fury. And now, so these are the different data reporting tools like Lumira, Analysis for Office, Crystal Reports Enterprise, Design Studio. So this is one system that we have. Now this is for sidecar. So all that I'm showing now is a sidecar scenario. And on top of HANA, we have S4 HANA. So there is another system called S4 HANA. So in order to access S4 HANA, which is on top of HANA, so now we'll log into the S4 HANA system. So we have a separate IP address to access S4 HANA system. So again, go to MSTSC. MSTSC. Enter the IP address. Just give 1 second. So we can enter this IP address 183 dot 82 dot 115 dot 222 colon 3318. So once you enter this IP address, click connect. 183.82.115.222 colon 3318. click connect. Once you connect, it's going to prompt the user ID and password, but already this is saved. I already saved this. So we can also save this credential, so every time we don't have to enter. So once we enter the user ID and password, now we are inside the S4 HANA system. So once we're inside the S4 HANA system, so in order to open this, already open here, I'll just try to reopen. In order to open S4 HANA, we have SFIN on the SAP GUI. Also, we can access this system via SAP Fiori. So this is the app Fiori. I'll double click on this app. So I'll enter so for S4 HANA, the user IDs are different. The user ID here is SFIN 20 and the password is surya@20. I'll click log on. I think it is SFIN 20 and I think we change the password to welcome123 itself. The password is same, only the user ID is different. SFIN 20 and password is welcome, W capital welcome123. Click log on. So once we log on, here we can see a Fiori apps. So I can type in for cash management. So these are the different apps. So we can access the S4 HANA system. If you double click on the SAP GUI, let's double click on from the SAP GUI, SFIN 20 and password welcome 123, where W is the capital letter. So once you enter, click systems, click status, click systems, click status, and now S4 HANA is directly on the HANA database. So you see when you click systems, click status, directly you would see S4 is on the HANA database. So is everything okay? Is everyone able to see my screen? So I'll just repeat it again. I think a few of them has lost the navigation. I'll just repeat it again. So in order to access S4 HANA system, you have the URL over here, which is sfin.fiori. Double click on the URL, enter the user ID, sfin20, the password is W capital welcome123 and click log on. So once you log on, So here you see different tiles display customer balances. So you can see different tiles based on the, so here even you can access SAP Lumira. So SAP Lumira can be accessed from here. So Lumira can be integrated with Fury, and you have different transactional apps. You have for sales employee, so based on different roles you can see different tiles. So these are different tiles. So this is the UI, and to see the backend system, if you go to SAP Logon, let's click on the SAP Logon, double click on SFIN, provide the user ID and password. User ID is SFIN20, password is W capital welcome 123, and click enter. So once we log into the system, click systems, click status, and here you see the database HDB. Mean S4 is directly on the HANA database. So S4 is directly on the HANA database. So S4 is directly sitting on the HANA database. So you have two UIs. One is using SAP GUI and the other one using SAP Fury. So most of the time we use Fury, and the backend is HANA Studio. So this is on the main car scenario. On the main car, so we have two landscapes. One is the sidecar, migrating the existing systems to HANA, and one is new implementation. On the new implementation, directly you have S4 on the HANA system. So this is our landscape. So this is how we are integrating all the systems together, and these are the user IDs and passwords. The main intention of this session is to show all the systems we have and how to access each of the system, what is the UI for each of the systems, and what is the user ID and password for each of the systems. So from next week, we'll start our 10 weekend course. The total, it is 10 weekends starting from next week. So this week was a demo session. So next week we'll start our first session. In our first session, which is Introduction to HANA Studio. So we would be seeing what is HANA Studio, what is catalog, what is content, what is an attribute view, what is the definition of an attribute view, taking a use case from the project. So based on the use case, how to design technical specs, how to design low-level design document, how to create an attribute view, how to do unit test, and how to validate data from the source system, and what are the different features available in attribute views, what are the different types of attribute views. There are different types like standard, time, and derived, when to use what type. So all these things we are going to discuss on the next week, that is the first session. I encourage everyone to read the materials that we provided. Please start reading the material HA100, which is Introduction to HANA. Introduction to HANA is HA100 book. Whenever you have time, I encourage everyone to read that material, which is Introduction to HANA. and you can raise a request for system access. So Bharat will assist you to get all the materials, all the system access, and I'm going to create. So every week what we do here is, so basically I'll just show you. So this is this is basically a Dropbox. So from this Dropbox, we actually distribute all these materials. For example, if I go to one of my batch, so basically all the videos are, you can see all those videos here. So if I double click on any of this video, so you can access this. You can access all these videos to start today's session. So I will basically sync all these sessions over here. And so you can access these video recordings. Comes to Delta. And the same. So you'll have something called a material folder, HANA material folder. Double click on this material folder. You'll have HA100, which is HANA introduction. So you can go to this material. So you can open up this material, which is Introduction to HANA. Just double click to open. So please go through this material. So like this, you have HA300, which is implementation and modeling, HANA Live, and this is for S4 HANA. S4H01 is for S4 HANA. HANA Cookbook is a very good book. You have BW362, HA200, installation and operations. So each of this material has more than 300 to 400 pages. And then you can go through these assignments. So assignments will be given. So in the assignments, I've taken a step-by-step screenshot. So you can access. So these are the assignments which are discussed outside what we discuss in class. So you can access all these different assignments. So these are all the step-by-step screenshots. So you can create all of them. So whenever you have time, you can do these assignments. And then new materials for SP10. So there's new set of materials for SP10. So SP9 and SP10 materials are available. So all this will be given to you by Mr. Bharat. The certification dumps and all technical assignment papers, business blueprint documents. So after completion of the session, I'm going to upload, and then you can access the sessions. So that is from my side for today's session. If you have any questions from your side, please type in the chat box. I will read the question and answer your questions. Thank you everyone to take out your time and to attend today's session. We'll see you on next week. And participants may have any questions, please type in your questions. I will read your questions and answer your questions. Thank you. So S4 HANA version is 15.11. So we have few questions over here. The version of S4 is 15.11 version. So ECC version is 6.0. So 6.0, ECC 6.0 is the version of ECC. The class will start every day, on weekends, 6:30 till 9:30. So it's a 3-hour session. So during these 3 hours, that is 180 minutes. After 1 hour 20 minutes, after we complete 1 hour 20 minutes, we'll take a short break for 10 minutes. Again, we resume for another 1.5 hour. And for last half an hour, before I close the session, for last half an hour or 20 minutes, we will discuss question and answers. The question and answer session will be there for last 20 minutes, and then in the session we have 10 minutes break in between the session. So here we have a question: how many implementations are on HANA? There are more than 20,000 customers who are already implemented HANA. So any programming language required. So you require 5 to 10% of the coding, which is SQL script. So SQL script is the part of the course. So we will see how to write the code, and most of the time it is navigation. So HANA is based on model to code. We generate the model, system writes the code on its own. But still, we need to tweak the code and debug the code, and show you how to debug and tweak the code. So this is whatever the landscape we see. So I've shown you 2 types of landscapes. So one landscape is sidecar. So even when you're working on a project, so this is the same landscape you'll have. So based on my project experience, I designed this landscape. This is the similar landscape you'll have in the real working environment. And to contact us, few participants are asking contact details. To contact us, you can write an email. Please write an email to nagarjuna.k @gmail.com. So this is our email, nagarjuna.k @gmail.com. And the mobile number, if you want to contact us, +91. So this is the code for India, 7799991129. +91 is the code, 7799991129 is the mobile number. nagarjuna nagarjuna.k @gmail.com. So even you can find me in Twitter, LinkedIn. I'm using the same email ID, and my name is Nagarjuna Kamireddy. My given name is Nagarjuna, and my surname is Nagarjuna Kamireddy. And Bharat is assisting. So Bharat is actually assisting me to conduct these classes. So basically, he's actually taking care of giving the materials to students, and then any enrollment formalities. All this is taken care by Bharat. So he will be the contact person for any admin related activities. But anyways, Bharat is always associated to me because I am the owner of the institute. So this institute name is Surya Academy, or sometimes participants also say it is Surya HANA Academy because we only teach HANA. No other course we teach. We only teach HANA and S4 HANA. So HANA Academy or Surya HANA Academy is our institute name. So this is the name of our institute. I am the faculty and I am the owner of the institute. And these are my details. And Bharat is the guy who is actually assisting us. So you can take these details. So I'll just read out the next question. So how many sessions are completed until now? We haven't completed any session. Just the first session will be on uh, next Saturday. That is our first session. We haven't started any sessions until now. So mostly this course is aimed for. So by completing this course, you can become HANA consultant or S4 HANA consultant. So this is what the positions I'm aiming. And most of the participants are able to get through these positions, and they got certification more than 90%. Whoever written the certification has got more than 90%. So could you brief the advantage of Fury over BOBI? So BOBI, Business Objects, Business Intelligence. These are the set of analytic tools. They come under analytic portfolio. Business Objects is acquired by SAP in the year of 2006-2007, mainly used for analytics. And Fury is a new generation UI. It's a lightweight web application server, and it is designed by SAP. Fury can be run on native HANA. It means that BOBI is actually running on a client side. but Fury can be run inside HANA database because HANA itself has an application server inside it. It's a lightweight web application server which is running inside HANA with the help of Access Engine. So when you have an application server inside HANA database, it's very, very fast in terms of execution because every time an application has to interact with the database. So instead of that, you have the application embedded into its database. So all the services are running inside the database and you have data inside the database. Whenever you have data, logic, and application together at the same place, it's very, very fast. And not only that, it is simpler to maintain and easier to use. So we will cover SQL scripting and C functions as well. So all the fee structure will be discussed by Bharat. So Bharat will be the person for HANA admin related questions. Any administration, please contact Bharat. So he will actually take care of all the admin related questions. So here we have a question. What is the difference between HANA IMP 142, HANA IMP 151? Okay. HANA IMP 151 is the new certification code which is based on SPS 10. 142 is based on SPS 9. So next question is, can I get the materials for HANA administration? Yes. HA 200, HA 240 is for administration. I'm providing these materials as a part of this course. So there are other modules in SAP. You showed us tables from SD. What about the other modules like CRM? How does it work? It works similar, so there is no difference at all. Only that table in CRM, the tables in CRM can store information about leads, opportunities, activities. It means that anything that we conduct before sales is CRM. Pre-sales or after sales. So all the information that you'll have is about our leads, opportunities. But once from CRM to sales or sales and distribution, now you have orders, delivery, billing. So table technical names are different, but how we process data, how the tables are stored, how we do data modeling, the presentation of data, everything is same. There's no difference at all. Everything is same. So next question, how can we contact Bharat? So these are the details here. I've given the details over here. So you can contact Bharat using these details. So you can dial in this number 7799991129, and this is my email address. If anyone wants to talk to me, you can just call this number. So Bharat will actually conference me to you, So we can talk in a conference call. The course is, so another question we have, does this course focused on sidecar and main car? Yes. The course is focused on both on sidecar scenario as well as S4 HANA. Next question, what is the procedure for certification? So it depends on what country you live in. Procedures for certification depends on different geographical locations. It is specific to that country. So if you let me know what country, I can find out for you. I can find out the procedure for you. But if you're in India, the procedure is you need to have at least 1 year of experience. In any company, you should be working in 1 year, and SAP will approve based on your resume. They will look into your resume, they'll approve your resume, and then you can write the certification. That's in India. But whereas in other, for example, let us take like US, UK, this procedure is not there. You can directly walk in and write the certification. There is no approval from SAP. Just you have to pay the fee, 550 euros, and you can write the certification. So how frequently does a HANA new release from SAP? So for every 6 months, so the release in the sense SAP does add new features for every release, but there are no major differences from one release to another release. There are not so many major changes, but yes, there are changes. For example, if you see SP11, SP11 has an integration with Internet of Things. You can integrate with sensors. You can process data from sensors very effectively. You can do predictive analytics. You have new algorithms to process data models in HANA. Only there are few changes, but there are no major changes from one release to another release. Now, if you see the release cycle of HANA, for every 6 months, you have a new service pack. For example, the first release is in 2011. Now this year is 2016. You see, HANA service pack is SP11. So almost for every 6 months there is a new release. Initially, there were not a lot of new features added, like from SP1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now from 8, it is very stable. 8 released in 2014. 2014, last quarter. And from 8, the product got very stabilized. And most of the customers use SP8. So till today, most of the customers still use SP8. Now, even though we have SP11, still till today they use SP8, and then few customers update to SP9, SP10. So based on their requirement, they can go for new features. So how do we get the demo class recordings? So Bharat will share you the recordings. So you can create a Dropbox ID. You can go to www.dropbox.com. You can create a new Dropbox ID. Please share the Dropbox ID with us. We will share you the recordings. Please create your Dropbox. We'll share you the recordings. So these are the questions I have in the chat box. So every topic I'm going to go in very detail until we see end of the topic. So every session will be very detailed session and hands-on session. All my sessions are purely hands-on. Whenever theory is necessary during the hands-on, I would explain the theory part there itself. And most of the classes are based on scenario specific. We will take a scenario, based on that scenario, we'll try to understand business use case and then develop these data models. So that is the question and answers in the chat box. If participants wish to discuss with me, please raise your hands. I can unmute you. You can ask your question. I can answer your question. Hi Venkat. Hi Venkat. Hi Venkat, you can unmute yourself. Please ask.
Yeah, I did it. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Venkat.
Yeah. See, my question is like I have total 8 years of ABAP experience.
Okay.
That is core ABAP, like no other modules like BI, anything, only pure ABAP.
Okay.
And now my like is HANA admin or S4 HANA, which will be suitable for me? Like
S4 HANA. Admin is not
S4.
yeah, admin is not suitable as for admin. You already need to have experience on DB administration, or you need to have experience on basis, SAP basis. So unless and until you have experience, we cannot work as an HANA admin. So if you're coming from ABAP background, then S4 HANA or HANA consultant is more suitable.
Okay. So, okay, when coming to S4 HANA, you were telling like some sidecar scenario or main car scenarios, right? To know the sidecar scenarios, or like, do I need to really have a, see, I have very less experience in BODS. I have worked very less. I know
Okay.
about BODS. Our project has BODS.
Okay.
Whenever they require any some ABAP help, like that we used to do. So do we really need to have any like BODS or any experience to work on a sidecar or main car scenarios in future when we get an opportunity?
A good question. So basically, to become a HANA or an S4 HANA consultant, BODS is a secondary skill set. It is not our primary skill set. Primary skill set is whatever the things that we are doing inside HANA, like HANA data modeling. That is our primary skill set. And SLT is our primary skill set. Smart data access is our primary skill set. Tools like Lumira. So whatever things that are related to HANA. But you see, BODS is a separate product in itself. So BODS can be used even when there are no HANA projects at all. It's just like another tool like Informatica. Informatica is another tool, and BODS is also another tool. Informatica is from non-SAP, and BODS is an SAP tool. So it's just an ETL tool. So BODS we will use for HANA. So if you see in a real working environment, for BODS there are separate consultants who only do BODS. Like we only do HANA, they only do BODS. But we need to understand the integration. Integration is a very important aspect for HANA. Because especially once the data comes into HANA, there are a lot of cases we need to do data reconciliation. At least we need to pinpoint the issue in our data model or issue in the data provisioning. We need to guide them. Okay, this is where the issue is. Could you please check and let me know? Please have a look and please let me know if there is any issue that is going to occur there. At least for doing root cause analysis, we need to understand the entire end-to-end flow so that it makes our job easy. At the same time, it helps to pinpoint during end-to-end scenario where exactly the issue is coming in. At least one person should be knowing where exactly the issue occurs. So in that way, the integration helps. But most of the time, we as a HANA consultant, we work on S4 or native HANA as our primary skill set, and BODS is just another ETL tool to move data from source to target. All right, Venkat.
So, yeah. So now if I get the training from you, so I can market myself as a ABAP HANA consultant, or is there any chances for that? ABAP HANA?
Yes.
Or I can market myself like only HANA consultant, S4 HANA consultant.
So if you want to move your career in ABAP, I mean, you still want to write code in ABAP, then better if your interest or your interest is ABAP, then you can still stay in ABAP. But if you want to move to the emerging technologies, because ABAP is there in market for last, for more than 20 plus years, there are projects where you can tweak ABAP code for HANA. I mean, we can restrict ourselves to that particular area. But if you want to explore new technologies, like new generation products, then you can continue to be HANA consultants. So both are different roles altogether. If you ask me whether you want to be an ABAP HANA or you want to be HANA S4 HANA consultant, A HANA S4 HANA consultant does not require ABAP, but ABAP HANA consultant requires ABAP. It means that ABAP is his primary skill set, but for HANA consultant, ABAP is not a primary skill set at all. And HANA becomes a secondary skill set for him. So for every consultant, there is a core area that we have to work on. So we have to choose, okay, what I want to become. I want to become an ABAP. My primary skill set is ABAP, or my primary skill set is HANA. Because whenever the job postings are done, when a job posting is done, there are primary skill set and there are secondary skill sets. So when they ask for HANA or S4 HANA consultant, it means that they're asking for HANA. If they're asking for ABAP HANA, it means that they want a person who is actually working on the coding part, but not on HANA. But HANA, though HANA will help them to understand ABAP. All right, Venkat.
Yes, that's all. How one last question, like how much you cover the simple logistics or simple finance? Is
So simple logistics and simple finance from the S4 HANA data modeling perspective. So what are the standard data models that are given by SAP? How to enhance those data models based on the given requirement? I'll show for both the areas, for simple logistics as well as for simple finance. How we can tweak the configuration in Fiori, how to expose them to front end. So we would be seeing most of the side on the data modeling, on what is new with the configuration, what are the new tables that have been introduced, and how to migrate, especially the migration part. Once we migration, what are the old tables and what are the new tables that we have? How it is going to convert after the migration is done.
okay. That's like whatever certification I'm currently in US. So
Okay.
whatever the certification, like what is the position in US?
So certification in US, there is no prerequisite at all. You can just walk in and write the certification. So there is no approval because lot of consultants I know, they just went to, because in, US is very big. So they try to find out the nearest Pearson training center. You can go to them. You need to have a valid visa. Valid visa. You cannot write on visit visa for US. Just I think business visa or any other visa, I think they won't allow. You need to have valid visa, and then they would be allowing to write the exam.
That's all, Nagar. Like thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your.
Thank you. Suchitra.
Yeah, hi. I just wanted to ask you, currently I'm working for the administration part, like basis and the security part. So for SAP HANA, which module will be good for me?
So for SAP HANA, if you're working on the administration part, you have to go for HA 200, which is installation and administration. So as a part of the course, I'm going to explain the admin part about installation, optimization, performance, security. And also these materials are available for you to use. The HA200 and HA240. HA200 is for installation and operations, and HA240 is for authorizations.
Thanks a lot for the information.
Yeah, thank you. Sri Kumaran. Sri Kumaran?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, Sri Kumaran.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Sri Kumaran.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Sir, I need one. Hello?
Yeah, Sri Kumaran, yes, please.
Sir, I need one suggestion.
Yes, please, Sri Kumaran.
Actually,
please proceed to talk.
I have got H1B visa.
H1B, okay.
So, through some consulting company.
Okay.
Yeah, H1B visa.
For,
some consulting company.
for 2015 or 16? Sorry, I think for 2000, already stamped. Already it has got stamped.
Yeah, it's already got stamped.
Okay.
So, in that company, they are asking me to do SAP certification.
Okay, HANA certification.
In HANA.
Okay.
Actually, already I'm from the background of ABAP for the last 3 years.
Okay.
So, which actually yesterday by yesterday's session, I came to know that there are 2 certifications in HANA. One is SAP HANA Application Consultant as well as S4 HANA Consultant, right?
S4 HANA certification, you can take it as a separate, but it's mostly involved on the functional side. If you're from ABAP background, you can take C underscore HANA IMP 151. That is the code for the certification. Hello?
Hello, sir. Sorry.
C underscore HANA IMP 151. That is based on SPS 10.
Okay.
Please write that certification will be more relevant for you.
Okay. So, this is the certification code or what?
There is a certification
exam code, something like that.
Yeah, exam code.
Okay.
So if you see that code,
then,
you can type in Google.
Okay.
So based on that code,
okay,
you can register from SAP.
Okay.
And then you have to.
So actually, this certification HANA application consultant or something like that.
It is known as SAP Certified Application Associate. It is an application consultant.
Okay. Okay, but they are asking me to do certification in HANA.
The same. C underscore IM. HANA means application consultant that is related to ABAP. C underscore HANA IMP 151.
Okay.
So this is.
Then how is the market? Actually, one more question, sir.
Yes, please.
How is the market? Actually, I am about to go to US last month itself. They said like the market is dull and it will take 2-3 months more. And before coming to US, you have to finish the certification and all.
Okay.
Like that they said.
But after going to US, you can write, because before here it is very difficult. If you're working already, then there is no problem. But after going to US, it takes only 1 day to write certification. That is not a big challenge, because in US, you go to US, just you can walk in, immediately you can write. Just you can walk in and you can write certification. But in India,
how much?
Lot of procedure.
Dollars we have.
So there are discounts also given. If you ask me, the standard rate 550 euros is the standard rate, but
Okay.
sometimes discounts are given, so you can get for 350
Okay.
euros,
Okay.
400 euros. So you can find for this discount
Okay.
coupons. You can find in online discount coupons for exam.
Okay.
So you can apply that
Okay.
coupon. Sometime you're lucky to get coupon sometime.
Oh. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So these are the questions we have. Thank you everyone to attend today's session. Nice talking to everyone. I'll see you next week, same time. Have a nice weekend. Good morning and good night to everyone. See you on the next week. Thank you.